Welcome, everybody, to the San Antonio Realty Pros podcast. I really hope you guys enjoy this upcoming episode. We intend to bring you guys the best real estate content possible, and you never know, you might learn a thing or two. So sit back and enjoy the show. So, how do you think things are going right now?
Oh, they're going terrific.
Yeah.
The world is burning in chaos.
I've seen this meme where this guy was it was just a black background. And it was just this guy literally on fire, just cruise walking. And I was like, that's pretty much how things are going. So
yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm not looking forward to August because every month something new changes. We had COVID. Then it became murder hornets. Then we had riots. Now it's back to COVID.
Yeah.
Now China's saying that they've got some kind of crazy deadly disease going on over there.
It's something with swine flu or something, right? Something that was kind of like the swine flu. It's a pig virus or something like that.
Well, they also were having cases of the plague coming up too.
Yeah, bubonic plague.
Yeah, and so pretty soon we're going to have Attack of Zombies.
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Have you ever seen Santa Clarita Diet?
Yeah.
So somebody ate clams, and now they're all turning into zombies. But
there's like a walnut seed looking thing that they spit up. That's weird.
Yeah, so
that's actually a pretty decent show. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we're on season 2, episode 9. I think the next one's the last one because it was only on for 2 seasons. But it's pretty interesting. I'm watching a show and I'm like, open house on a Thursday? Who does an open house on a Thursday?
Right. Yeah, because they're both realtors.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. But I know it's good to be back on the air. We kind of took a break with COVID, and then
we stopped all of our training and stuff, our in-person training, and we pretty much stopped. We slowed down a lot of stuff operations-wise in the office.
Yeah, but the market hasn't.
The market really hasn't slowed down.
No, I'm probably going to have the best year. Every year seems to be the best year, right?
Yeah, right.
It's supposed to be good, right? Because you just continue to grow your sphere of influence and things like that. But I think the interest rates have a lot to do with it too. So once the interest rates start heading back up, it'd be interesting to see what happens to the market. And I know a lot of the appraisals are coming back late because everybody's refinancing their houses.
Yeah.
And so lenders are really backlogged because everybody's refinancing their houses. So it's causing a lot of added stress. I haven't had a close on time yet since COVID hit and the interest rates dropped because everybody's backlogged.
Yeah, it's crazy how, I was looking at some lender information the other day. I think it was Aligned Mortgage that's got no required appraisals on VA loans, which I was like, what? Really? I thought that would be something that would be a mandatory deal, especially on a government-backed loan. They want to make sure that their investment's protected.
Well, I don't know. The VA got something going on. Mm-hmm. So I've sold almost 100 homes, and I've only had the VA come back, the appraiser come back and say they enacted Tidewater twice. Mm-hmm. And both times I was able to get the value for the house. Well, I just had another one that we were under contract, and it came in. They enacted Tidewater, and then it came in $5,000 under what our contract price was, which was what I had the house listed at.
Right.
But the buyer tried to finance their closing costs into it, so that didn't make it. And then my own house. Yeah, my own house. I had it listed at $470. We just dropped it to $472.5, and then the person buying it, they're a veteran, and they didn't have a realtor, so I basically gave them a solid, and I took what I would have paid another realtor off the house price, and then a little bit more, and we came down to $455, which is $1,000 less than what my neighbor's house. That's 100 square foot smaller than me sold for last year. And my house has a lot of extra stuff. Mm-hmm. And now they enacted Tidewater. And I'm like, how the heck do I drop a house $20,000?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And then you still enacting Tidewater because you're having some difficulty determining the value. And it's just I don't know what the VA is thinking right now. So I'm kind of interested to see because we have another house in our community that is under contract with a VA loan, and it should not have any issues appraising, but we'll see. I haven't heard anything come back yet on that. But, you know, my neighbor, since we're talking about appraisals, my neighbor, every year, he will go and combat the county on his property taxes. And this year he was late because he went to the office and it was closed for COVID. So he contacted the county. He's like, hey, I want to protest my taxes. Well, because he had missed the deadline, he had to go in front of the county commissioner's court to protest it. So he gives me, he comes to me, he's like, hey, I want to protest my taxes. Can you run some comps for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he's like, well, you want the evidence packet? And I'm like, what evidence packet? And he's like, they gave me a packet with what they call evidence for the valuation of my house. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, let me see it. Just kind of curious. I've never seen
I'd be really interested to see what
property
that
tax evidence file before.
Yeah.
You know, so he gives it to me, and it has all the comps that they use to determine the value for his house. So his house is on an acre. It's fenced in. He has a pool. Our community has 26 houses, and there's no amenities, right? All 5 of those houses that they compared them to, Harvest Hills. So they're all in.
You know how far away. If you guys that are listening right now don't know how far away David lives from me,
7 miles.
It's a ways off, and nobody in their right mind would ever use those comps to compare any kind of valuation because it's 7 miles away. This 3 miles is like the max that you really want to go.
Not even that. You're in a gated community.
And why don't they use St. Clair Woods? It's even closer, and there's.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
or Rancher's Way.
Yeah.
Over there where Colette and
Red Oak. They've built 30, 40 homes over there.
Yeah. But no, they're going over to Harvest Hills. So Harvest Hills is gated. Ours is not. Harvest Hills has like 100 and something houses. We have 26. They have HOA or 4-H pens. They have RV parking. They have a tennis court. They have a basketball court. They have a park. They have a pool. They have a clubhouse. They have a stocked pond.
Yep.
I mean, all these features. So, like, there is a lifestyle. Ours is a lifestyle, 2 different lifestyles.
Yeah.
But they came in, and I was like, what? So,
unbelievable.
Yeah. So, I was like, hey, here's all the reasons why these comps are invalid. So, when you go over there, you go to the commissioners and say, hey, look, you know, here's the deal. This is where I live. These houses are 7 miles away. 1, why are we accounting those? 2, I'm on an acre lot. They're on a third of an acre lot. 3, they have all these amenities. We don't have any amenities. So what they ended up doing is coming down drastically. Like they barely raised his property taxes this year because he went over there and was like, y'all are stupid. So if your property taxes are going up, I would request from the county, if you want to, go and try and dispute them, ask them for their evidence and see where those houses are at. Because if they're 7 miles away, that's ridiculous.
Because I hear that from what I've gathered in my community in Harvest Hills, I always post close to the end of the year, right at the beginning of the year, I post and they're like, hey, if anybody's needing help, disputing their taxes, or if they need some help understanding what's going on with their property taxes, give me a shout. I'll be happy to do a CMA for you. And last year I did like 15 or 20 in the neighborhood. And everybody that I talked to said, yeah, this is my first time or my second time. Usually the first go around, they don't really say anything. They just go, okay, well, if you do it again, then they're like, well, we need to have a phone interview for the appointment. And if you do it again, like if you're a habitual reporter, like somebody that disputes it every single year, it's like what your neighbor, they want you to come in and all this whole thing. But it's really crazy the way that this year our property taxes kind of stayed the same. They dropped my home valuation about $40,000, and they raised my land up double. So my property was only worth this is what they say the land is worth in that neighborhood. I think it was around $55,000 or $56,000 in 2018. For 2019, it was like $89,000.
Holy moly.
Yeah. For that little bitty piece of property that I live on.
Go to contest.
And they dropped my home value. So what they're doing is they're jacking with the numbers here. And it's I mean, we've said a lot of times before in other episodes, like, these guys aren't appraisers. Like, that's not what they do.
All they are is revenue makers for the county.
They're just out there,
the city.
Blanket statement stuff, just looking at rooftops, like, oh, they put a pool, in the backyard this year.
Yeah, they'll Google Earth that stuff.
So you got to be really careful with what they're doing. And, we've had Colby Donegan Appraisals in here to do a podcast, and we're going to do some more once all this stuff kind of settles down. But, you really get an actual appraisal. Spend the money and get an actual appraisal if you're really concerned about, how off it is. You may not be happy sometimes because some people think that their house is worth a lot less than it really is, and then that may be a detriment more than it is a benefit. But,
right. Yeah.
So.
But and here's the other thing, right? If your property taxes, if they raise your value, I'm going to break out my phone real quick so I can do some math, right? Ow, that was my elbow in a
Funny
wall.
bone.
Yeah. So let's say we use our county, for example, right? So Guadalupe County, we live outside the city limits. Our tax rate is 1.88%. So if my house value went up $30,000 times 1.88%, that means my property taxes went up $564 for that year. An appraisal costs you $500.
Right.
So do you spend $500 to try and save $64?
Right.
So you got to kind of think about that too. So if your property went up $20,000 at 1.88%, that's $376. So if you reach out to Steven or I, we'll run a comparable market analysis for you for free. And then you can just submit that to the county and see what they can do to knock down that price.
Yeah.
And save some more money. But if you see it going up $10,000 every year, it adds up.
Yeah.
Because every 10 years, that's 100%.
Yeah, and the other thing too is square foot verification. Square footage, because Texas Measure, which is Colby Donegan and those guys, if the county says your house is 2,600 square feet and they're charging you or appraising it or assessing it at 2,600 square feet and it's actually 2,400, well, there's another issue. You might be able to get that proven.
Right.
Some documentation that's proven.
But sometimes when you do that,
sometimes it ends up being more. They're like, yeah, actually,
A lot of times the builders they'll submit the plans based off of what their model is, right? What the base is. But then if you add this room or this feature or something like that, it'll mess it up.
Even like elevation changes, like the front elevation change could change the amount of living square footage because it might have a bump out,
right.
This elevation versus the other one. So
yeah, well, so we've got a couple houses that we're selling in our community, and that builder, when we were looking at moving out there, we talked to that builder, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I always knock off a couple hundred square foot from the square footage when I submit it to the county, so I can help you all out with the taxes." Well, that's good when you're helping me out with my taxes, right. But when I go to sell that house, if I was selling that house for $100 a square foot and it's 200 square foot, you just cost me $20,000.
Right.
That's a whole lot of property taxes.
Yeah.
So you got to kind of look at that too. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's an important thing to keep an eye on because it can get out of hand pretty quick. And then people think like, well, my home taxes are only $5,000 or $6,000 a year. Well, you divide that by 12 and see what your monthly, what that affects your monthly payment on your mortgage too, because that's something to keep in mind.
Well, multiply that by 10.
Right. Yeah.
That's how in 10 years you've paid X amount of thousands of dollars. So $50,000, $60,000 you paid in taxes.
Yeah, and then if you're looking at your appraisal, making sure that you have all the correct exemptions on your taxes too, because a lot of times people don't understand, like, if you don't have that homestead exemption on there, then you're subject to the increases tenfold, right? So whatever that increase is year over year, they're going to hit you with the maximum.
They hit you harder for it because most often than not, you're an investor if you don't have your homestead on there. It's a rental property or something like that. So, but yeah, this is crazy. So if you're looking at your property taxes when they come out, and you have any questions about it, just give us Stephen or I. And then I want to give a shout out to Stephen since he didn't say anything about it, but we were just published.
Oh, yeah.
An article was just published about our podcast.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody about that?
So we got featured in the July edition of Texas Realtor. I got a call from the editor, the article writer from Texas Realtor Texas Realtor Magazine, and they were doing a big piece on podcast, and so they did a piece on Houston, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas. And we made the cut for the San Antonio one because, I mean, to be honest with you, there's not really a lot of like podcasts that are in this area. If they are, it's kind of really canned information, and I don't really consider it an actual true informative podcast. And so I've seen one other company do a podcast, but they just don't have the type of info that we have. And so I guess when they listened to our stuff and they found out, what we were all about, they were really interested. So I talked to the guy on the phone, and I told him I'd be more than happy to, contribute to the article, and I thanked him for.
Yeah. So thank you if you're out there listening. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, and this is one of the things that when we first got going with our own office and all that stuff, and we had been doing some podcast episodes before we opened our own deal, but I thought that it would be an important part of the business model to be in touch with potential clients, in touch with clients, and anybody around the world that can actually tune into the podcast, because we want to try to give out good information that's usable to your advantage, right? I don't just want to put a bunch of information out there that I can just write a whole show here, and it doesn't really benefit anybody. Like, it's good to have funny content and just talk about everything under the sun, but we want to make sure that we're putting out information that you can use. So what we've been wanting to do here lately is I actually started a Facebook page just for the podcast, and so what I'm trying to do is drive a little bit more traction towards that, and it's the San Antonio Realty Pros podcast page. It's on Facebook. And then you can search it. Like, if you go to our website, sanantoniorealtypros.com, you can go down to the bottom. There's a podcast link, and it links back to all of our podcast episodes. And we host on Anchor. So with Anchor, we that's basically where it gets all sent to and edited. And it syndicates out to, like, I don't know how many websites. It's like 14 or
something like that,
15
12, 14,
platforms.
15.
And so we're on Spotify and iTunes and all the major, ones. So we really enjoy doing the episodes. I mean, we've been kind of lacking here lately because of all the stuff that's going on, but we really want to get back into the swing of things here towards we just hit the third quarter.
Third quarter.
So, we want to.
Halfway there.
Yeah.
Before long it'll be Christmas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, think about it.
I wonder, what would be a good Christmas gift this year? Like, if you give them out, like, the little boxes of 25 masks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations. I got mask and hand sanitizer for Christmas. My stocking has been fulfilled.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I felt like going ahead and just having Christmas in July and just canceling the rest of the year because all the stuff that's going on. Let's just finish it off.
Maybe to end good. Once November hits, they start toning down like everything for COVID.
Yeah.
Maybe by December we'll be able to travel and whatnot.
Yeah, I think out of like all election years, this election cycle has been the wildest. Like, the United States is just wilding out. Like, it's unbelievable. So we're just going with the flow over here at the Karis Randolph Signature Property Group, and we're going to continue to go with the flow. And from the bottom of my heart, and I know from David too, we appreciate all the listeners that we have. We don't get a chance to thank everybody for the most part all the time, but we really pour into our jobs and our careers, and we pour into this company to make sure that we're taking care of the clients. But we don't get away to express our gratitude to the listeners for the podcast. So thank you, definitely from all of us here. And we're going to be getting some more informative content. I've been saying this for like ever that I wanted to do some video stuff, but I just haven't had my office set up, and that's really an excuse, but it's, but it's just,
At least your office is neat, right? Mine's like this little holding area for
Signs.
Everything that was in my garage, real estate related, until I sell the house and put up some new storage or whatever. So.
Yeah, you'll get that squared away. I like the
month.
idea for the hangers for the signs. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, I figure if I can put a couple up there, I can probably put 3 or 4 signs per.
Yeah.
And then I'm probably going to build a box that I can up above the garage so I can just slide the big post in there for the bigger signs. So we'll figure it out. I've been watching a lot of woodworking videos. I left the fire department and I was not having as much free time as before, and so I started looking at my health and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm going to step away from the fire department. I'm going to do something that I can kind of do on my own when I have some time and kind of have some me time. Mm-hmm. So I've been on Amazon and Lowe's.com buying this, that, and whatever, so I can pretty much make anything now. So I've got some cool storage ideas and whatnot. I can't wait to try and make them to fruition. And then you can come over and be like, damn.
Nice.
When are you going to build one for me?
I need to get one of those Craig jigs.
I got one.
You got one?
I got like 5 of them. I got the pocket hole jig. I got the circ saw jig. I got the cabinet drawer jig. I've got, you name it. I've got you should come check out, like half my garage now is just woodworking stuff. And then
Heejin loves that.
Oh, well, she is, because I found, because in all my woodworking and stuff, I found a video on repurposing old French doors and turning them into photo frames and stuff like that. So I found a guy online that was selling 2, and so I bought them. And then I've got an old soldier of mine he's got a couple, so we're going to link up once I move into the house and get them. But I'm turning one into a picture frame. And then it's actually sitting on a foosball table that Steven and I picked up that I'm going to work on too. But so I'm going to start sanding it down. He's picked out the paint. She wants it colored. And then I'm going to get it all set so when we move, I can just go and hang it and we're good to go. And then the other one, it has 2 broken panes of glass. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out all the panes of glass and I'm going to turn it into a bookcase. And every window is going to be like a little slot for books.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm going to go and try and do that. And I've got to make miter saw table. I'm going to make a table saw table. I'm going to make a big, huge workbench. Yeah. And then to where I can link in and clip in the miter saw or the table saw bench into it, so I have a long surface if I'm running big, so I'm making long rips and stuff. So I've got like 75 videos on YouTube saved, so I can go and I've been watching them all, so I can be like, I like this, and I'm going to add it to my workbench and stuff like that. But I'm going to have them to where they're all can be taken apart and put up against the wall, so it's not like this like 8-foot by 16-foot monstrosity that's stuck. It's all going to be on caster wheels. I can break it up and just run it the whole length of my garage. So
cool.
Yep.
No, I love woodworking. I like projects. I like to do a lot of DIY stuff. So
you can come DIY at my house.
I'll come help you for sure.
Yeah. So
we'll build some stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things that I need to get new, but I don't know.
I got it.
Yeah,
I even got one of those dovetail.
Oh, you have a dovetail? Wow.
Yeah, I told you, man. I've got a planer. I got a leveler. I've got that dovetail thing. I'm telling you, I got.
We're gonna have
and not too much. I even got like this fancy chisel set.
Nice.
I got a Dremel with all these little tools, and I've got a bunch of clamps and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's just insane. Like, I'll have to take a picture when I go into my house, and you'd be like, "Whoa!" So
nice.
Yeah,
that'll be good, man. You'll enjoy yourself. You got to take some time. We stay so busy. We hardly get, and let me just let the people know that are on the client side of this deal. I'm going to say it because I know David won't ever say it out loud, but we're humans too, and we have to have some downtime. So you just have to realize that we're going 90-0 all the time, and sometimes when there's a high demand or a really demanding client, like we will push into that and deliver as much as we possibly can, but sometimes give us a little bit of,
14 or 15 hours, 7 days a week.
Give us a little break.
It's burnout.
We're always on our phones. So anytime, like I was at I was doing something the other day and I felt really bad, but at the same time I was like, man, they'll just have to understand. Like I can't change a contract right now. I'm at Lowe's.
Well, I got it right. Well, I woke up this morning and I missed a text that was sent at 11:59.
Right.
Hey, can you tell me about this house? Not at 11:59. I can't.
Yeah.
I'll do anything for my clients, but I still have kids.
Yeah.
And a wife, and I kind of sat back and looked at things, and I'm like, I want to do Monday through Friday, 8 to 6.
Yeah.
If it's after 6, it's by appointment only, and Saturday and Sunday is going to be by appointment only.
Yeah.
So that way I can spend time with the family because my son's graduating this coming year.
Yeah.
And
not a whole
then I
lot of
won't
time
see
left.
him, right? Yeah. And then my daughter, she's got 2 years left in school, and then she's going to be gone. So I need to try and get them while I still got a chance to build some memories with them. So
yeah.
Ethan's really looking forward to getting into woodworking. He's been trying to find something to do, and
he makes those flags and stuff. He'll like that.
Yeah, so
that'd be something he can really.
So I'm thinking about getting a steamer so I can steam wood and bend it.
Oh, and bend it. Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
you're going high tech, bro.
I'm going to see first, right? So I'm spending all this money. I hope it doesn't come out looking like Picasso.
Hey,
but
he made a lot of money. Well,
yeah. Well, I'm looking at buying the vinyl machine so we can make our own little decals and stuff like that.
Yeah, Joe's got that stuff too. She's got that machine that cuts vinyl. So if you need something made in the meantime, you can just
Well, that's what I'm using. Like Ethan's been using her for that, so he can make his little flags and stuff. But I'm just like looking at all kinds of stuff that I'm going to make, and then maybe just go to like a craft show and sell it.
There you go.
It's my hobby, and I can use that money that I take from it to reinvest in killing time and just keep it, going around. But he wants me to make an arbor for her now. I'm doing those French doors. I'm building those cabinets. I'm going to cut out, Ethan's got a void in his closet, so I'm going to get a drywall. I got a drywall saw. I'm going to cut out the drywall and put some wood in there and frame out some shelves in his closet. And, so they're recessed, so he's got some extra storage in there or whatever for stuff he doesn't use that much. And so I got a long list of honeydew items. So
that'll be fun. Yeah. I enjoy it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, good deal, man. Well, let's wrap this deal up. And you got anything else for the listeners out there?
No, appreciate you tuning back in. I think we're going to try and do something more frequently again and get back into the sweep of things and try and find some different things to talk about that are real estate related, house related, but maybe not just all sales and purchases and stuff like that. Maybe I'll figure out what I'm going to be working on each month.
Yeah,
or each week.
Chat about it.
What I'm working on, and we can kind of talk about that. And I might, if I can do a good job, I might start my own YouTube channel with the woodworking too that we can refer back to. And
I'll be your cameraman. You can just, I'll just film you.
Well, I'll just put the GoPro up, and you can just do all the editing.
Oh, there you go.
And then I can do all the voiceover.
Nice.
So, but I'm telling you, man, there's some money to be had. These guys are making their own thing. They're making their own plans, and they're selling for $10 a pop. They got 150, 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And they got Rigid and all these other people over here sponsoring their stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, let me figure out what I can make.
Yeah.
And then I'll go put the plans up on there and supplement my income.
There you go.
My hobby. But I'll become a YouTube sensation.
There you go.
But no, we're doing a lot more videos too. We've got some professional commercials that have been made up that we're doing on our social media. So if you see them, like them, share them. Go to our YouTube page. We're also posting the podcast there. So go to that page, subscribe, like, share. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Again, we are a small veteran-owned business. Most of our agents are veterans. So if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or have any real estate needs, property management, investing, please send them our way or link us up with them and help support a local-owned, veteran-owned business. That would be fantastic. But I appreciate everybody out there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, and for coming back to the San Antonio Realty Pros podcast.
I just felt like a NASCAR driver. When they win, I like to thank the Coke, Pepsi, Mellow Yellow, Bubble Gum, Pringles, car.
That's funny. That's a mess.
If you're not first, you're last.
That's right.
So help us be first.
Absolutely. Well, guys,
y'all have a good one.
Have a good one. See ya.